Hey guys, this is Stephanie, and I just wanted to do a quick video about habits and how long it can take to change or break a habit. And if you're struggling on whatever weight loss program you're on, whether it's Weight Watchers or another program, I guarantee you that you're going to have moments where you do something that you swore you would never do again. You're going to eat a food that you swore you would never eat again. You might, if you're a binge eater, you might binge and you never thought you'd do that again. And I think that that's just part of the journey. And sometimes I think it's really easy to get discouraged and then give up. And I was reflecting on the last 15, 16, no, it's been like 15, 16 months since I joined Weight Watchers, and I'm down 27 pounds, and I am super proud of that. I am a slow loser. Part of that is just my genetics and my body and the autoimmune disease that I have that affects my thyroid. But the other part of it is I have a lot of habits to break, and I have a lot of eating habits that I wasn't even aware of, like how bad they really were. And I have lost hope, and I have thought, I'm just never going to lose weight. But those are really bad thoughts that I have to keep out of my head. So I have realized I'm just going to name off some of the habits that when I first joined Weight Watchers, I used to do, and I used to think, I'm never going to change this habit. So habit number one was binge eating. I used to binge like all through the weekend. I would count my points and I would stay on track, and then for whatever reason, I would take 2 or 3 days and just blow it and use all of my weekly, sometimes in one day. And then I would like work really hard and, just really nose to the grindstone, and end up losing weight. And I did that for my first almost year on Weight Watchers. And then I kind of started to rein the binging all through the weekend in when I cut out wheat and went more high fat, healthy fats, lower carb, kind of medium protein. But I was still binging or overeating, because for me there's a difference. Every time I binge, it's different than when I just overeat. And I was still doing that every Sunday. For some reason, Sundays were a day for me to just go crazy. Well, I've had 3, 4, I don't even know how many Sundays, but it's been quite a few where I've stayed within my points, or my goals. If I was going to have something, I pre-planned it. I have not let the weekends be my stumbling block, and that's only been in the last 3, 4, 5 weeks that I've been able to do that finally after 16 months on a program. So that feels really good. And the other thing is that I've stopped using other people and events as an excuse to indulge in foods that I know are super like triggering and feeding the addict for me. And I'll give you an example of what I mean by that. So ice cream is something that usually when I buy ice cream and it's at home, usually it's something that once I start eating, I end up pulling out the carton and I just eat, or I'll measure it out and I'll have 4, 5, 6 servings of it. For some reason, it's one of those foods that I just start binging on. And it was my son's birthday on Sunday, and I got myself one gluten-free cupcake, and I made him a cake and got my husband and him both a cupcake, and I decided not to get ice cream. My son is turning 2. He doesn't care whether or not he has ice cream. But I was like, no, you have ice cream at birthdays. And then I thought, no, I just want the ice cream. And so I didn't buy the ice cream, and everybody was fine with it. And it was just a simple decision. I'm not going to buy ice cream. Well, how many times have I baked cookies or made a treat or made a certain food that I'm making for other people, but really it's for myself? And I know that I'm going to do the same thing every time I start making this or that or the other. How many times do I use my son as an excuse to go have like French fries? Yeah, still guilty on that one. How many times do I use, date night with the husband to just like really go and indulge? Now, I'm not saying that indulging is bad, but if you're doing what I did, where I was using something, some other event, some other person as a secret reason for me to kind of, open up that can of worms for myself, well, history always repeats itself, right? So I don't really see myself doing that very much anymore, if at all. And that's a huge, huge accomplishment for me. It's like, I know that cake and frosting are really big triggers for me, and I went back and forth about whether or not I should just make a grain-free cake for myself, and I said no, because I don't want a whole cake. And I don't want to deal with that mess. I don't want to be licking the bowls and licking the frosting and doing all of those behaviors, because I know myself and I know where it will take me. And so I chose to just buy it. And that worked out so much better for me. And the cake really wasn't that great on the cupcake. So I ate the frosting and had a little bit of the cake. And the cupcake came in a 2-pack, so I stuck one in the freezer. I'll know that I'll be able to have the rest of that on May 7th when it's my husband's birthday. And it's fine. It's not screaming at me. Usually if I were to have like an extra of a treat, it would be gone. Like there would be no control. It would like scream at me until I ate it. It's fine. It's fine. And I am also just a lot more careful about what I bring into my home. And I'm just a lot more realistic with myself. And I just have to be. And that's been something that's becoming more of a strength, even just in the last few weeks. I'm not saying that this has been a strength for like months. This has been just in the last few weeks. So there is hope for those habits. Whatever those habits you have that are tripping you up, you know, don't give up hope. In fact, back in September, I finally raised my hand in Weight Watchers and I said, look, I haven't lost weight in like 6 months. I've been losing and gaining the same 3 pounds for months and I'm sick of it. And you know what? Do you know how many hands went up in the room? And all these women were saying, you know what? Me too. Me too. And I've been too dang embarrassed to say anything. And I get embarrassed to come. And we kind of just like all kind of got it out. And since then, 2 of those ladies have reached lifetime, which is amazing because 2 of them had been going to Weight Watchers for over 30 years and they didn't give up. And something finally clicked with them. Another lady, she's well past 30 pounds now and she looks amazing. You can totally see it on her. And now I'm at 27 pounds, and back when that happened, I hadn't even reached my 15 mark yet. It was like, those were the hardest 5 pounds. For me to get from the 10 pound to the 15 pound mark, that took me 6 months. All right, like it's not always easy for everyone to just find that momentum and stay there. So if you're one of those people like me who struggles with certain habits, who maybe you're just struggling to really stay true to your program, you know what? Don't give up. You know, don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your program. Just stick with it and have faith that eventually that motivation is going to come back at some point, you know, and it may not be today and it may not be tomorrow, but you know that you'll get motivated again, and you'll really regret it if you totally just go off the deep end and just go crazy for a few weeks and gain all the weight back that you worked so hard to lose. You know that you'll just hate yourself. So hang in there and don't give up. And if you're somebody like me who is a slower loser, don't be discouraged when you hear, you know, that other people are just losing, you know, huge numbers every week, or they're losing at twice the rate that you are. You know, weight loss it's a really personal thing. And just because you don't lose 1.5 or 2.5 pounds each week doesn't mean that your 0.2 pounds is insignificant. You know, we all have battles. And so I just want to encourage everybody to be kind to yourself. Don't lose motivation and don't lose hope, especially with those really, 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 really hard habits that have been with you for maybe your whole life, maybe since a really traumatic event. Maybe you picked up a really bad habit and you know that it's affecting your weight loss. You know, just don't give up. And who knows, you might be binging, you know, 3 days out of the week now, and maybe in a month you're only going to be binging 2 days a week. And then maybe in 6 months you won't be binging at all, except for, you know, maybe you'll binge, you know, because something really traumatic happens. And you know, but that's all that I wanted to say, is just, you know, don't give up. And sometimes the progress that we think is going to happen in like 4 months might take 12 months, and that's okay. We're all on our own journey, and we're all going to deal with our food issues and our bad habits, and we're all going to lose at a different rate, and that's okay. And so hugs and love to all of you who might be watching this, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.